Hey people, Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel, bringing you a very important, impactful discussion video on what's happening with, well, the situation is very deep. So basically, Trudeau government decriminalizes possession of hard drugs in British Columbia. Now, this is an interesting topic to talk about because they've been trying to do this for a while now, where they were trying to decriminalize drugs for years now, and possession of hard drugs in BC. But why BC? First things first, let's look at the timing of it, okay? Why would they just start to, well, we've seen what's happened with hard drugs, opioid, fentanyls, all kinds of bizarro stuff, lace stuff. That's a lot of it's been coming in from mainland China. They even did an expose on CTV discussing the money laundering through fentanyl and illegal and illicit drug sales that's being relayered into Canadian housing and blue states in America. So I want you guys to look at this video up here because that shows goes into in-depth destruction of the Canadian middle class. Moving forward, look at the timing on this. What a best time to get people on the hard drugs when inflation's kicking in double digit, when the price of food is becoming scarce. Never mind expensive food, scarce. Food, the transportation is getting federalized. Our food purchasing is becoming federalized. Everything is becoming federalized. They want to take everything out of the power, out of the people. So they basically froze handgun sales and handgun ammunition sales and all that stuff in Canada. They're proposing to freeze it. The other day we made a video about it discussing because basically they want to take the power from the people. Right? And I said, Andrew Jackson said, and he said it many times, governments should fear its people, not people fear their governments. And Andrew Jackson said that. He's the guy on the $20 bill, if you guys don't know. And Andrew Jackson was also the president of the United States that got rid of the Federal Reserve and the international banking cartels. And when Old Hickory was on his deathbed, he said, I freed the American people of the international banking cartels, or the international banking ruthless cartels of whatnot. And then World War I hits and they reinstate the Federal Reserve and all the other garbage. But anyways, so what is happening here? Well, here it is. Trudeau government decriminalizes possession of hard drugs in British Columbia. It's coming from our friends over in True North. Don't forget to subscribe and like what they're doing, because they're really hard-hitting and in your face. The Trudeau government has announced that in 2023, possession of small amounts of hard drugs, including heroin, cocaine, and methamphetamine, will be decriminalized in British Columbia. Why British Columbia? Well, it's terrible. Because, well, not British Columbia as a whole is terrible, but the main cities like Vancouver, Victoria. Why I left Vancouver, top 10 reasons. Vancouver's the unhappiest city in Canada 2 years ago. Why I left Vancouver 5 years ago. Top 5 reasons not to move to Vancouver. Don't move to Vancouver, top 5. I've made several videos on that. Where Canadians go when they leave Vancouver and Toronto and Vancouver 2 years ago. Is Vancouver lonelier than most cities, or just about addressing it? So there it is. You need to know how much to buy a house in Vancouver. Yeah, people, like, look, Aboriginals and whites leaving Vancouver. And Vancouver mass exodus, young families leaving. So what better way to start to bring in the hard drugs while people already oppressed in a city, right? The oppression started to come into Vancouver in 2009 when foreign investing started to pour in. 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, the foreign investing kicked really hard, taking the average 9 working years or 9 years of income to purchase a home in Vancouver to like 26 to 35 times your annual income to purchase a home. So that's why I'm thinking the timing of this, the inflation, Vancouver and BC is already overpriced. Kelowna is already 700% overpriced. Kamloops, all the cities around me here in BC of my small town, I'm already paying $4,000 in property tax, $1,200 a year to the city for garbage pickup, and then through my gas and electricity bill, there's municipal taxes and their bonuses that we pay almost $1,000 for a year. So just to exist in a home, a median average home, nothing special, it's costing me $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 just to be there, to be allowed to exist on stuff I already own, right? And obviously they federalized the gas and the electricity, so they charge whatever they want with that, right? So there it is right there, the timing, inflation, everything happening at the same time. Federal Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, Carolyn Bennett, made the announcement on Tuesday in response to BC's growing opioid epidemic. So we already covered this on our channel with youth and people dying on our streets. So here it is. We covered it 4 years ago. Chinese gangs laundering money and shadow flipping, destroying Canadians' futures. Basically, it's Chinese gangs laundering and shadow flipping and destroying Canada through illicit drug sales and drugs. You can watch the video. It's right there. And basically, we talked about the perfect storm, an opioid menace like never before. A rising number of opioid overdoses seem to hit everyone. So that's what's happening there. We covered that. And where else we got? Americans spent $150 billion on illegal drugs, opioid pills, vending machines. So there it is. They've the videos that haven't been deleted from this platform some of them are still up for you guys to view. But this has been wiping out young families right across Canada, and far too long this wave has been the reality in British Columbia and across the country, said Bennett. Today we take the first steps in much needed bold action and significant policy change. So they're going to allow, according to the federal government, Canadians over the age of 18 will be allowed to possess 2.4 grams of opioids, methamphetamines, MDMA, and opioids. Those found to possess such substances will not be subject to arrest or having the drugs seized. So be careful. If you're a homeowner, I would be careful with this, because they'll just come and take your house. They're looking for ways to get Canadians out of their homes and force Canadians into homelessness. So be careful if you're a homeowner and you think this abides for you. I think this is more of a different people. If you're a homeowner, I'd be careful. That's all I'm saying. So there it is right there. So now let's go into here. Now, Portugal legalized drugs, but that was different because Portugal made it a sickness, not a crime, to have drugs. But they also created dissuasion centers and telling people it's not a crime to do hard drugs, but it's a sickness. And that really turned a lot of heads all over the world. So let's take a look at this graph here on Portugal's drug decriminalization. Now, so there it is right there. Overdose deaths in 1999, 369, in 2016, 30. New HIV diagnosis due to injection, 90718 in 2017, so it dropped significantly. And number of people incarcerated for drug offenses in 1999, 3,863 to 1,140. So there it is right there. It's been working in Portugal, but the Portuguese approach of things is a little bit different. They were actually doing it for the people to protect the people, right? They were doing it because they didn't want their youths to succumb, and creating dissuasion centers and creating places for people to go to that have these problems and this sickness, not illegal crime, sickness in Portugal. But Canada, I see it doing it in more of a nefarious way to keep wiping out our youth across the country. More and more opioid deaths are appearing in America, in the blue states especially, with the synthetic marijuanas and all kinds of bizarro stuff. I wanted to put this out there because we've been talking about this, and we've been very vocal about this on Mike of the Night. We can't really talk about it on here, but I wanted to put this out there. So the legalizing of drugs, or the legalizing of small amounts of drugs, first thing you want to look at is the timing of it. We're headed towards inflation wars, food riots. We're headed towards more. This is going to, I guess they're seeing this as easing the pain for some. You know what I'm saying? And then, look at with the banking. If you want to get to the core of this, the reason why we're in this mess right now is our country sold us out to the highest bidders, okay? And it's been done through money laundering and selling us out and getting billions of dollars off Chinese shores and parking them in blue states in America. Look what's happened to the blue states. And all over Canada, California, and all over Australia, New Zealand. And they were all competing, making brochures in Mandarin. Come and park your money here. Look at all these houses. They even created websites like Amazon for Chinese people in China to buy our properties up like on Amazon. And biz that, pay the broker, pay this, pay land transfer title, all included in the cart, check out, and they own the property. And that's what and leaving them empty. And that's what's been happening. If you want to get to this and why we're here and why they're confiscating or putting the drugs or legalizing it or getting rid of the guns and federalizing everything, our food sources and federalizing our transportation, it's because of the money laundering. The reason, if you want to look at what's happening in Ukraine, money laundering. It's all about money laundering. Look up right now, if you can, if it's still up, Sputnik News. The world would be in financial chaos, or the world would collapse economically if London stopped money laundering. Look that up on Sputnik. HSBC, I think it was, HSBC whistleblower. I think it's HSBC whistleblower states that the world would be in shambles if London stopped laundering money. Look that up. HSBC whistleblower comes out and says that. That makes no news. That's in what, 2018, 2019? That didn't make any headlines. But that's why we're in this position right now. If you follow the money back, it all goes back to money laundering, money being moved offshore, and the disposition and displacing the middle class that built the infrastructure. Without us, this infrastructure doesn't exist. So there's nowhere for people to park their money, right? And that's why they deported 47,000 Portuguese families in 2007. They came in as laborers. They were promised in 2002 permanent residency, and they were going to come and work in Canada and on the path to permanent residency. And guess what? 2007 hit, 2008 hit, housing started to go south. They blamed the Portuguese for it, and they kicked out 47,000 families in 2007, and I think it's 21,000 families in 2008, all deported illegally illegally deported because they weren't given permanent residency, and they were all deported. They were taken from shopping malls, high schools, from everywhere. And oh, you want to find an article about it? It's gone. It's all CTV, CBC, all deleted all the information that was out there in the news articles. Gone. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Look at the timing, and that will pretty much give you your answer. Look forward to seeing you guys on the flip side. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.